Okay, welcome to another episode of Shapes and Sizes. Today what we're going to be doing is creating this table and chairs. Let's get into it. So to start, what we're going to do is we're going to hit A to select all, X to delete, and we're going to delete them all. We're going to do Shift A, Mesh, and we're going to add in a plane. So this will be our basic seat chair. You'll see what I mean in a second. So with this, we're actually just going to name this to, I don't know, seat. Okay. Then we're going to tab into edit mode. We're going to hit 2 on our keyboard. We're going to grab this edge and we're going to extrude it along the Z axis. I'm going to grab this edge here. I'm going to hit Control B, this will bevel it, and just kind of bring it out maybe like 3 around there. I think that looks not too bad. But I am going to grab this edge here. I'm just going to grab it along the Z, so GZ, and just kind of move it up a little bit. Perfect. Now I'm going to grab it on the Y and bring it back, just because sometimes it slides back, right? So now I'm going to select this entire piece, so I can hit A to select all of it, and I'm going to add a modifier. So the modifier, you go down to this little wrench on your right hand side, you add modifier, we're going to add a solidify. And with solidify, we'll just allow it to increase the thickness. Yeah, we're going to increase the thickness just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of look to it. So if you look here, let's go into solid view. And it looks kind of like a chair a little bit. That's good. All right, perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add some legs to it. So if you are in edit mode, you can hit tab to get out of edit mode. So we're just going to add some chair legs. So I'm going to hit Shift A. We're going to go to mesh. We are going to create a circle. So the circle is going to go all the way down. I'm going to shrink it in with scale. We're going to bring it down a little bit actually. I'm going to see what we're doing here. So the way that I want to do this is I want to make kind of like 4 kind of like coming out along the sides, coming up, and then attaching to the chair piece here. So I'm going to hit G, X, I'm going to move this over here, G, Y, bring it up. You know what, we're going to actually bring it out a little bit, right about there. I'm actually going to bring it in a little bit. We're going to bring it out to right about there. And now we are going to tab into edit mode. We're going to hit E and Z, and we're just going to bring it right up to the top. Let's see how this looks. So I can bring it up maybe a little bit more. No, so I want to. So from here, I'm going to hit G to grab it and Y, and I'm just going to bring it in to the bottom. And let's bring this up so that it touches. I might need that whole thing a little bit thinner. It looks a little too thick. So I'm going to select it. You can hit A, or I just went over my mouse and hit L. You can hit A, and we want to hit S, and then Shift Z, and bring it in a little bit thinner. Right about to about there, perfect. So now I'm going to go to first view, tab back into, and I'm going to stay in edit mode. The top part here is I want these rings, right? What'd be easier is we could just hit F to face it, and then that way we could just grab the face. So right now that face is grabbed. Sorry, so I'm going to go back into front view by hitting 1. And then I'm going to hit G, X, and bring it in. Right about there. So what I want to do now is I want to add a little bit of a curve to this, just kind of stretch it out and curve it back up over here. So what we're going to do is I have this whole thing selected. I hit period to center it, to focus it. And I'm going to be using the spin tool. So we're going to take our cursor here, going to place it right there. And before I do this, I want to hit F to face this. We're just going to move our cursor right there. And I'm hitting 1 and 3 to make sure it's in the right spot. And now we're going to go down to our spin. We're going to go up here to the X. Just going to grab one of these 2 pluses here, and we're just going to grab it and bring it down about 45 degrees. So about 1/4. I want to like grab this face or whatever, right? So I'm on 3, and if I grab this face, now I can do whatever I want to complete it. So if I go to third view, and grab E, and hit G, and then Y to grab it along the Y axis. I'm going to bring it right about to the front. This. So yeah, kind of like where it lines up. And we're going to do the same thing on this part here. So I'm going to hit circle to, or sorry, period to just kind of come on in. And I'm going to grab the cursor and I'm going to bring it in right above it. Here, hit 1 and it's in the proper spot, so that's good. So the same thing, we're going to go to spin. We're going to do it on the X axis. And we're just going to bring this up, like so, about another 1/4 of the way. Perfect. And now when we have that face, we're just going to hit E and bring it all the way up to the chair. Beautiful. I'm going to hit 1 to see where it is. Grab this along the X and line it up with the other. I'm going to bring it in a little bit more. There you go. And now you have one part of that chair done. Now I'm going to tab out of edit mode. I'm going to have this thing selected. I'm going to hit Shift and D and move it along the X. And I'm going to now rotate it inwards. So hit R to rotate and do the same thing. And there you have a very basic looking chair. Let's go ahead and apply this. And we're going to go to materials. We're going to add a new material. Okay, so this will be chair. And we're going to just change the base color. You can change it to whatever color you want. I'm going to go with a nice green, maybe a little bit of a darker green. Just like so. So now if I hold Z and go to material, now you can see that that is a green chair. We're going to do the same thing uh, for our 2 things here. What I'm going to do here first is I'm going to join these 2. So while I have my first circle selected, because I didn't change it, I'm going to shift click and click the other one, and I'm going to go Control J. Now that put me into a circle, and these are actually the legs. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a new material to the legs. So I'm going to name these legs. And usually legs are around a metallic color. So we're just going to go to a dark silver, gray, somewhere around there. And we're going to see how these look. And that is how our chair looks. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab both of these. I'm going to hit H to hide them. And now we're going to work on our table. So I'm going to hit Control A, Mesh, and we can do, let's do a circular table. So I'm going to rename this table, and we're going to tab into edit mode. Make sure your number 1 is selected, your vertices, and we're just going to extrude this on the Z just a little bit, just to add some thickness to this. We're going to hit F to give it a face. So there you go. And that's what we have there. And what I'm going to What we're going to do next is we're just going to create the long stem piece to it. So I'm just going to click on these, and I'm going to, so I Alt left click on the circle when it's in edit mode. I'm going to ES to right about there. I'm going to hit EZ and bring it down. And yeah, that looks pretty nice. So we're going to ES. So extrude scale, and we're going to bring it outwards about there. Just going to EZ down, and we're just going to face that off. So kind of like a dumbbell looking thing. So now we're just going to give this a new material. So the material will be table. With the table, we can give it a brown color. I just go down to a brown, just like so. Now with this table, I'm actually just going to make this top part a little bit bigger. So I'm going to tab into edit mode, hit 3, and I'm just going to grab all of these here. And we're just going to scale that out. So now I'm going to hit 2 to grab my edges. I'm going to click Alt, click, and that'll grab all these edges here. And Control V, that'll add a bevel. And we're just going to bevel it out. Give it a little bit of like roundness. We're going to do the same thing for the bottom here. So Control V, we're just going to bring it out a little bit. Just to add a little roundness to that. And then we're just going to take our chairs that we hid. So we're going to come back to these eyes and take these 2 chairs. And we're just going to click that and shift click the seat. And now we're just going to tab out into object mode. And I'm just going to hit Shift A. And we're just going to create a floor. So a plane. And just kind of scale it up. And grab it on the Z. And we're just going to bring it right down to where our mesh is. Right about there. Just so that it gives us a little bit more of a, so we can see where it's landed and where it's going. So I'm gonna click these 2. So shift and click on your chair. I'm gonna grab along the Z axis and bring it down right about to there. Hit 7 on your numpad to go to top view. And I'm gonna grab X, move it over, grab Y, and move it back a little bit. So now what we can do is we can duplicate these. So I'm going to hit Shift D, and I'm going to move it on the X, and hit 7 to get more of an aerial view. And then I'm going to grab it on the Y, and I'm going to rotate it -90 degrees. So that'll make it kind of facing forward. So I'm going to grab X, move it in, grab Y, move it down. Perfect. Shift D, Y, oh, sorry, X. I'm going to move it to the other side, and then we're going to rotate it 180 degrees. And bring it back up to this location. Perfect. And now we're going to Shift D, bring this on the X. Now we're going to rotate this 90 degrees. We're going to grab it on the Y axis and bring it down. And it'll be perfectly and fit right there. And from here we can change the individual colors of the seats. So we're just going to add a new material, and you can change it to whatever color you want, and then just delete, and then that'll take over the material color. Add new material, and let's make it red. Click chair, delete. Next chair. Click chair, delete. And there you have 4 different color chairs. And that concludes our video of these table and chairs. I hope you guys had a lot of fun, and I'll see you in my next video.